Data analysis and dashboard video. Absolute and relative referencing. In my Toolpak histogram data sheet, to find out my cumulative frequency, I used relative referencing. So you can see here in the formula, it's relative referencing because it's saying that G8 equals G7 plus F8. However, to find the cumulative percentage, I used absolute referencing. You can tell because of the dollar signs, which ensure that all formulas are divided by G302. Applying conditional formatting. I used conditional formatting to indicate a low, medium, and high amount of visits. Built-in and user-determined formulas. As you can see in my formula sheet, I demonstrate I can use a variety of arithmetic, statistical, logical, relational operators, and other types of formulas. This can be seen in this table where I've got the type of formula, the context, and the actual formula itself. For example, I found the sum of the Lau Islands reef visit number. I found the maximum number of cots found in each survey, the minimum number of manta toes done in a survey, the count of the number of individual surveys where trout was spotted, the mean amount of cots spotted in each survey, the standard deviation of the number of visits done over all surveys, and then I did the logical formula. If the sum of all toes in Forbes Islands reef is greater than 100, say true, and it says true. And then I found out if the average amount of cots in sector CU is less than the average amount of cots in sector PO. I found out if the number of toes done in Evening Reef during 2015 is less than or equal to 50. I found out if the latest trout recording from Broomfield Reef is equal to 19. I found out if the mean number of soft coral in Havana Reef during 2001 was not equal to 15. I found out if the number of toes done in Hardy Reef is greater than the number of toes done in Bowden Reef. I found out if the total numbers of cots ever spotted in Arlington Reef is greater than or equal to the total amount of cots ever spotted in Clack Reef. And then I used VLOOKUP to find the longitude of specific reefs. So you can see the formula up there, and I did it for each. Configure sheet layouts. In my dataset, I configured the sheet layout by freezing the top row. This allows you to scroll down and still see the different fields when analyzing data. Enter text, numeric values, and formulas. As you can see in my formula sheet, I entered text and entered the word text. I also entered the numeric value 8, and I constructed a whole lot of formulas, including arithmetic, statistical, logical, relational, and other formulas. Filled down and across. In my Toolpak histogram spreadsheet, I used the fill down tool to create relative referencing for my cumulative frequency. So I was able to do this through double clicking on the side of this box, and it automatically filled in the formulas all the way down. Similarly, I used the fill down tool to create the cumulative percentage, but just with absolute referencing instead. This can also be done in a similar way to do fill across. Import data from a variety of sources. In this data set, I have got data from the AIMS. My second source, I've got data also from the AI, but on a slightly different subject. So this one's about coral cover. Manipulate rows, columns, and apply formats. In my formula sheet, I manipulated the rows and columns by adjusting their size to create a table. For example, these columns here I adjusted to fit the text and to create a column in my table. I also used formatting in my formula sheet to create this heading, which has the Al Nile font and size 28. I also colored the formulas red to make it easier to read. Sort selected areas of a spreadsheet. In my COTS dataset, I'm able to use the sort tool to find the total number of COTS in descending order. You click on descending in this column, they're in descending order. Use filters and pivot tables. In the Toolpak histogram spreadsheet, we've got a pivot table which shows the name of each reef, so you can see the names of each reef, and the sum of the total cots in each reef. And you can filter by each reef. So let's say, for example, you want to know the number of cots in Boulder Reef. You'd select Boulder Reef, and then it shows you that there's 185 total cots in Boulder Reef. Work with data across multiple sheets. I worked with data across multiple different sheets to construct different graphs. I used this data set to create regression, to do a histogram, to do a line graph, to do a scatter plot, etc.